Hello and welcome to week nine. Pretty sure it's week nine of the Poetry Group podcast. My name is D'Artagnan Solis. I'll be your host. And today, Jeremiah's not here. Today, we are joined by Andrew Valdez. Andrew, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, hello. I'm Andrew. I'm glad to be here. Usually a viewer, first time speaking.
Awesome to have you. So, Jeremiah is out today with violent shits. Like, oh my God, there's no way he would have been able to make it through the hour. So, we had to scramble last minute to get a co host for the day, and Andrew was more than down to hop on here and make sure the show keeps rolling. So, Andrew,
Mm.
could you just give us a little background with your relationship with poetry?
Ooh, for myself, I really got into poetry probably around middle school. Everyone had that phase of nobody gets me and my music's loud and I need to express myself, and creative writing's always been one of those things that I tip my pen in. Usually it's short stories, but poetry really stood out to me probably year 8. I remember vividly getting in trouble in a class, writing about femininity, and that was an interesting one for me because I put very sincere thought into the irony of how people are speaking to women.
Mm.
And for context, I went to an all boys school, so most of the people around me failed to recognize that you can actually support women. Period. Remember that one being a heated debate for a while.
No, definitely. And that's like a real life echo chamber you have right there, right? Like
Yeah,
you're
definitely.
surrounded by guys. It has nothing to do with the internet. You just went to a private school, and there's no one there to present the other perspective. It takes a
Hmm.
lot. That's when you hear the common argument of, "Hey, you think about your mom, think about your sister," right? You have to
Yeah,
retrain the perspective, but I could see how
and
that easily ends up that way.
no, exactly, and that's a tumultuous time for everybody. We're all growing and like developing. That's really where like creative writing is an outsource, and poetry is like a great artistic expression for how to like really just be introspective and talk about thoughts and feelings in a way that most teenagers don't want to. So
Hmm.
growing up alongside that and developing appreciation for it and reading more poetry, like you refine your senses a lot and can really tap into things that most people tend to neglect. um for me, a big one's like, I mean, and maybe a couple people viewing might know, mental health's been a big part of my life since I was little. I founded a club for it. I carried that all the way through my high school career, and like to this day, like it's something we all deal with. So poetry's right there. It's one of the few things I use for therapy. It's that, it's sense, and it's getting in the water. Those are like the only things that work.
Right, right. And then one thing I want to, we kind of touched on that, right? When you're saying the exposing to that feminine perspective, it's lost a lot of times on a lot of people. So I hope that everyone realizes, if you're a viewer of this podcast, that if you're a poet, you can write from another perspective. Not
Mhm.
everything you write is necessarily all about you. So when you hear a poet come out and they say something that might be extremely homoerotic, that person could be the straightest poet you've ever met, but took the time to write something from that perspective, you know? And that's the creative beauty
Mhm.
of poetry. You never quite know if the author is being a character or if they are expressing themselves, and that allows a little bit of anonymity so that they can express themselves a little deeper.
Mhm.
Mm. So, with that being said, I'm going to allow you to go ahead and narrate this poem that you brought with us. It's called Lost Things. It's by Lang Leave. What is your relationship with this author? Because I've never heard of her.
Lang Leave is a poet that I picked up 8 years ago at this point. Um, I was gifted a poetry book collection by a former girlfriend. And in the first book that I have here, these are both excerpts from Love and Misadventure. Um, Langleaf really talks about the essentially the spiral of falling in love, loving hard, and then losing love.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not every adventure is a good one. Often there's a bittersweet element to it, and in this instance, I'm tapping into that well of 2016 to 2018 me, where I had what was a really good relationship, and we're gonna see how eventually all of that does develop in ways that you can kind of see coming when you read this book.
All right.
Um, okay. So for the first poem I have here, it's Lost Things. This poem actually inspired my former significant other to write me a poetry book herself. I think she started it on February 14th is Valentine's, and she gifted it to me on winter solstice of the same year. Um,
That's
the
about 10 months of work.
that's 10 months of work. It was 100 and so poems. Um, and I have a book here that was gifted to me, and there's an excerpt from it on a sticky note that says, "This poem has inspired my gift to you, so that one day you may find these notes buried in a drawer somewhere and remember how much I loved you."
Ow.
So, oh yeah, we're twisting knives here. So for Lost Things, um, moment here. I'm gonna move this note. Lost Things. Do you know when you've lost something, like your favorite T-shirt or set of keys? And while looking for it, you come across something else. Once you missed, or once missed, but have long since forgotten. Well, whatever it was, there was a point where you decided to stop searching. Maybe because it was no longer required, or a new replacement was found. It is almost as if it never existed in the first place, until that moment of rediscovery, a flash of recognition. Everyone has one, an inventory of lost things waiting to be found, yearning to be acknowledged for for the worth they once held in your life. I think this is where I belong, among all your other lost things. A crumpled up note at the bottom of a drawer, or an old photograph pressed between the pages of a book. I hope someday you will find me and remember what I once meant to you.
Ow.
Oh yeah.
Ow. So my perspective before I let you dive into this, as this is the poem you brought, is to
Mm-hmm.
feel that type of pain. Cause I'm feeling it as a third person, like, oh, this is hurt. But to feel that personally, first you've had to have had a good relationship, and
Oh yeah.
by the talks of everybody that I've spoken to, most of y'all ain't, and most of y'all need to choose better partners. So be better, so you could feel this poem.
Oh yeah. Oh.
But feel free, take it away. Give us a breakdown. What this means to you.
So for me, you and I had lived together for my second year of college when I was out there in SoCal.
Mm-hmm.
For that first year, there was a girl from here, out here in the Monterey area, that had gone. We'd been friends in high school. We'd gone to college together. We weren't really close, and then in that first semester of college, we started dating.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's where you could not separate the two of us for like a year straight. It was She was deeply invested in the friend group that I had. Um, she was like the person I spent the second most time with next to my best friend that I had when I was out there, who you've also met.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so this person was like my rock essentially. It was one of those things that I take to the nest when I'm trying to build a new home away from home, because we're 6 hours away when you go all the way down there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she was really into poetry, all these different things and creative aspects that I also like to share with people. um, I felt like I had my person, and my history with at least romantic relationship has always been like I have to be the major provider. I can't really be introspective. I'm presenting and forcing something more than I am just being myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then this was the person I thought like, hey, you can be you. I really came into myself in that those 2 3 years, that 18 to 20 range. And then by the time that she had left college after our first year, and when you had moved in, I was still spending as much time as I could on my phone, right? So it was um, it was interesting, and I think this is the second book that was gifted to me from her. It came in a care package that you and I opened up in my apartment complex at one point.
Do remember that.
Yeah, so this poem to me is this is the lost thing. This is the one relic I kept from that relationship, because it's self-explanatory. Like if I throw this away, I'm abandoning a chapter of my life that was necessary for the development for me to get to this point. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
appreciative of every painful step along the way. Even walking like across glass, it's worth it because I'm here now.
Successful, mind you.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, I do. Even the way that you read it, the pauses in between. It's one of I want to highlight those pauses, and they're written in there as well with the hyphens, the dashes, whatever we're gonna refer to them as. You, I think this is where I belong among all your other lost things, right? It's
Hmm.
sorry, forgot to talk. The At the final stanza here, I think this is where I belong among all your other lost things. That pause, right? I think this is where I belong is usually this phrase someone speaks when they found where they're supposed to be.
Hmm.
That hyphen sets you up for among all the other lost things, and it's extremely depressing. The place that I belong is among the misfits, right? I
Yeah.
didn't quite make it. You forgot about me, and that's just how it that's just how it is. It's very real, and I was just speaking about this about horror movies. The scariest horror movies are not the most over the top. The scariest horror movies are the ones with serial killers that seem like they're real people.
Hmm.
The most touching poems and the most painful sentences are the ones that feel like someone could come and speak that to you, or you feel like you could be that person.
Yeah, no,
And
I get that. It's it's more real than any supernatural scare that you can get because
right.
it's so close. Yeah.
And this is one of those. I think this is where I belong among all your other lost things. Everyone can, I feel as though most people can attest to at least a best friend that you had that you guys just don't speak anymore. And
Hmm.
that's that same emotion, that same idea. But let's go ahead and jump to the next poem. Don't want to spend too much time over here, even though it's a great
Um,
poem. Everybody check out Lang Leave. This is my first exposure.
yep,
Seems
yep.
like a fantastic poet.
One of
Um,
my favorites. Among the very few poetry books I've finished, and the probably the best one that I've kept on to
mm,
and returned to the well for. Um, Saving You. The darkness takes over him, or takes him over. The sickness pulls him in. His eyes, a blown out candle. I wish to go with him. Sometimes I see a flicker, a light that shone from them. I hold him to me tightly before he's gone again. Um, yeah, you go ahead and take it away, and then I can get into it a
wrap
little
up.
more.
All right, so we had another owie. Um,
Yep.
this one, saving you, the darkness takes. No, so saving you is the title. Apologies.
Hmm.
The darkness takes him over. The sickness pulls him in. Um, this can be many things, right? He could literally be dying, and he can be bitter about it. This could be addiction. This could be,
Hmm.
as you described, having to be someone that is not yourself, and your
Hmm.
loved ones see that, right? They see. Immediately I think of like rock stars, right? You might
Yeah.
be this loving, family centered figure around your family, but as soon as you step out into the world, you have to be a superstar. And being a superstar all the time, you can see as it pulls him in, and it's not healthy for him. His
Yeah.
eyes, a blown out candle. He's dead in the eyes. I wish to go with him. You want to go and save this person, right? But as adults, you not everyone can be saved, or you can't
Exactly.
save someone without giving up yourself, and you got to draw those lines.
Hmm.
Sometimes I see a flicker, meaning like it's still there. I know it's still there, which is painful, right? Like I sometimes I see the you that either like I fell in love with, or the you that I grew up with, or the you that um
That
I
was there before.
that was there before, and it just it's not really there anymore. I hold on to it tightly before it's gone again, right? Those moments I cherish, and they fade. So there's a lot of different perspectives that this can go through. I obviously for you, I believe this is the relationship perspective, but it's
Oh yeah.
painful over the a lot of different avenues.
Yeah. So this one really stuck out to me because the gift came in or what around winter solstice of 2018.
Mm,
Um, that was the big poetry book that she had written for me, but for my birthday is when this book was given. Or late February, about 2 weeks after she started writing her own poetry for me. Um, if you recall, our Tiagi had passed away in August of that year.
Mm-hmm.
So there's about a 6 month in between of this poem and or me taking in this poem, reading it and appreciating it, and then the what comes with it. A note that she wrote for me, which all of them have it, is she had recently discovered that sometimes I need someone just to hold on to me and say, I've got you. And there's a promise here which reads, I will always be available to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think you remember this because you're the person that I hugged at the actual funeral. She was in town. She had moved back up with us or with
Yep.
me, and she failed to come to the funeral, ghosted me for 2 weeks around it, and that ended our relationship. It's a promise unkept. It's an idea of that you're a lost thing for a reason. And as much as it is sweet and it is longing and loss, there are some things better left in the drawer.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's understanding that someone wants to be there to save me, and for a moment of time, they fully believed at my worst they could be there for me. But these sometimes words are fickle, and a promise can't always be kept.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so for me, it's that bitterness of every time I go back to this book, you get the best and the worst of what
Definitely.
of a relationship you may have had.
Mm, always good with the bad. You can't just. If we could just
Mhm.
take out the good part, then all those relationships would be successful.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. So there's two poems that Jeremiah brought. He sent them in early in the week, so I was excited to get them on here. They're already queued up, so we're gonna run through them anyway. But
Hmm.
we will save the funny one for after. Let's get through the rest of this the rest of this cycle. We're gonna push through the first one that we're gonna go through. Um,
But
I'm
yeah.
not gonna explain the poem just yet, but I
Hmm.
will say I can actually. But I'm about to say, oh yeah, I think both of us can relate to this poem. But with the early, it's one of those poems that it twists, right?
Okay.
And so when you listen to the beginning, don't be like, wait, what are you trying to say about me, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. But for anyone listening, I feel like I relate heavily to this poem, and I believe Andrew can give us an interesting perspective on this as well. This is Dimitri Manabat. This poem is called Jack. And just be prepared. He comes out swinging. All
Got it. Got it.
right. You can see the screen.
Hmm.
All right. Let me know if you can't hear for whatever reason, but here we go. Three, two.
All right, so I used to swallow this dude. His name was Jack. He was a hoe, friends with everybody, but rightfully so. He had a dope style. He's a real smooth, old-fashioned type of dude. You know, all the guys and girls wanted a shot with Jack. They used to chase him around with smiles, but you see, me and him, we were inseparable. He was bisexual. But in public, this motherfucker acted all neat and straight. Ugh. But in private, the world was our country. I was the president. He was my vice, my sugar and spice, and everything right. A tall, dark, and handsome man. On some nights, I needed both hands to handle that man. He used to wear this sexy ass cologne. Everyone knew him by his scent. We'd spend so much time together, it would eventually spill on to me, and people started to say, ooh, you starting to smell like Jack. Whenever I stayed the night at his crib, we used to sneak out. We tried to stay silent, but his door was old. Every time he went to lock it, he made the knob creak with his key. But once we were out, we'd sneak out to parties, and I always found myself pressing my lips to his neck until that special fluid came flowing up out of him. I guess he just brought out the best in me. Made me more courageous, more spontaneous. He was my ecstasy, and I was addicted to his effect. You see, the way he numbed my pain. Being with him was like working at Adidas. The way he made me feel, I just snorted 3 white lines of that pure cocaine. But one night, Jack's love became too much for me to handle. An overloaded sensation, face glued to the toilet, memory going out like a candle. If you haven't caught on by now, this poem ain't about a guy, it's about Jack Daniels. Allow me to run it back, listen careful, and try to dismantle because I already told you that Jack was a real smooth, old-fashioned type of dude. Everybody wanted a shot with Jack. They used to chase him with smiles. We were inseparable. He was bisexual, but acted neat and straight. So much of his cologne spilled onto me, people starting to say, you starting to smell like Jack. Sneaking out, staying silent. His door was old. Every time he went to lock it, he made the knob creak with his key. Said he made the Knob Creek whiskey, sneaking out to parties, pressing my lips to his neck because he made me more courageous, more spontaneous. He was my ecstasy, addicted to his effect. You see the way he numbed my pain when I wanted to Kurt Cobain, make guns go bang, taking all these shots because I'd rather be drunk than be hung over problems Jack can fix. So I'll trade this frayed noose for a bottle of Grey Goose. Cause I'm grieving and I'm dealing with distill and vodka be a remedy because Corona took my happy dad. Now truly, I'm drowning in depression and the only person keeping me from sinking is Captain Morgan. Drunk driving the boat so he can't steer. He's too busy fishing for a buzz and I'm still hunting beer. I'm loaded, ready to pop my cap tonight, but a nightcap might be the only difference between my family dining under the moonshine peacefully or them whining over my dead spirit. All this to say, I'm 2 years sober now. And I make jokes about relapsing every single day because I find it easier to pretend that there's still a future with me and Jack than to accept that I will never talk to him again. And
Ooh.
There we go.
So Jeremiah sent me that poem.
Mhm.
I listened to this poem, did my little preview of it, made sure that it was something I wanted to throw on the podcast. Usually I trust his decision, but I want to familiarize myself with the content that we're putting out. And the only thing I can write back to him was, I wish I wrote that.
Oh yeah.
So good. The entire process. When he sent it to me originally, I'm like, wow, Jeremiah, like, I mean, nothing against it, but I didn't take Jeremiah the type of dude to listen to poems about guys getting off other dudes. And when there was the twist in the middle, I was like, oh my God, what it do? Made me feel all types of different ways because I have struggled with alcoholism for a huge portion of my life. And I say huge portion because post alcoholism, I don't remember very much of the pre-alcoholism at all. I have these memories that people have told me, and I remember them as the people telling me, not as me experiencing them. And going through to stop drinking was extremely difficult, being who our friends are, who our families are. There's a lot of it. And what starts off as, oh, I can just drink at family events, you start to distance yourself from it more than more. And the more distance you put in between it, you realize that alcohol just keeps closing doors and putting yourself in danger of possibly losing your job one day if you just go a little too far and you can't make it in. DUIs are a huge problem. It was this fear that started to loom over me, and eventually I stopped. I had put almost a year sober, and then a family reunion, one of our cousins had a drink, and no one, she came up and was talking like, oh yeah, I got this, and this in this cup, like it was a joke. And then everyone's like, no, you don't. And I took the cup and I took a sip, and I was like, oh no, she really does. So technically I broke my sobriety there, but I didn't like go and start drinking. Just reset my clock. So that puts us we're at about 3 months now, since the reset. But it's not as difficult for me as it is for Dimitri, where he says it's easier to believe that one day he can he might be able to relapse. That's why he makes those jokes. For me, the only time I ever want to drink is when I'm around my family because I'm so accustomed to it. But I think the more that I break that custom, I can be free from that. What are your thoughts on the poem before we break down the actual structure?
Oh, for me, it's very similar. It's the idea of, because like we said, it's the backgrounds we have, it's the people we're with all the time, it's the friends and the social aspect of drinking, and having that young 20s mindset still, even though I'm pushing 30. Um,
Same.
so, it's difficult knowing that there needs to be a time where you could be classier, be sober, be better than, because you're right. There's only things to be lost, and you don't have a better time because you're drinking most of the time. It's social lubricant. It's a crutch a lot of us lean on to. Um, I lean into it very heavily. I share it with people. I try to drink better now. It's like wine instead of Jose Cuervo because that man fucked me many a time. Um, so I'm growing up with it, but it's also it's so hard to separate yourself from something that feels almost necessary sometimes.
Mhm.
Um, but I do get it, and every word there was meaningful. Just the way it was put together, very relatable, very relatable.
Very relatable. And then speaking on every word was meaningful. Which words when twisted stood out the best the most to you?
Oh, my lips to his neck. Like, just, I imagine myself very much in the same way of, as much as we projected our masculinity when we were younger, by the time I got to college, I was fucking fruity. And then I was out there. And I have vivid memory too of like, and these are like things that were on video that I'm glad got deleted since, but like sitting back with my lips to a wine bag and hitting it over and over and just trying to finish it, or like getting a full handle and thinking to myself, like, I can tank this. Like thoughts like that, where I just find myself more, it's, what is it? The drunk mind speaks to sober thoughts.
Mhm.
Um, I loosen up a lot when I'm drinking. I mean, everyone does. That's how it works. But because of that, it's you find yourself, I guess, being more open with people. Um, Myself being very open with people and like the descriptive terms I would use and like how I identified with people when I'm very very open to things that people normally wouldn't think. Like I'm cool with whoever, and a lot of the time, when you grow up in like a very rigid, it's easy to say a very conservative surrounding. Um, People almost accuse you of wrong think
Mhm.
for certain ideas or opinions or beliefs you may hold. So yeah, get a little sauce sometimes, and it ends up with me looking like I'm kissing at the nape of someone. Um, when it comes to drinking, and thankfully now it's a wine glass
The
instead
whole
of Jose.
bag.
Yeah, a whole bag or a Jose.
Yeah, yeah. I will I guess fun diversion from that is he said everybody wanted a shot and everybody does, right?
Hmm.
Everybody wants to drink. That's the party. Take more shots. It's shot o'clock.
Hmm.
All this hype around it, but no one's around you when you black out. No one wants to be there. I mean, you have some tight friends that'll probably watch out for you, hopefully, but
Yeah.
no one wants to be around that forever. And a funny aside here, one, I think the disclaimer here, because apparently people be coming for me saying that I'm not respectful to my relationship on this podcast, but my history is my history, and I still think it's funny. Um, so one, I'm very thankful to have sobered up and been in a position where I can be with as wonderful of a woman as I am with.
Hmm.
Um, I don't deserve, based off of my past actions and decisions in life from ages 18 to now, to be in a stable relationship. But with that being said, the reason that this one worked is because I cleaned up. And then just a funny story. There's this party. I'm at a friend's house, and there's this girl in a green dress. Don't remember her name. Don't really remember what she looks like, but I remember in my head thinking she's bad. And I'm talking like classy bad, like she's not showing
Hmm.
off everything like she seems like like a boss bad. And like the real definition, not like the current definition, like she was a boss. And I asked the host, I was like, "Hey, yo, put me on with your friend." And he goes, "Oh yeah, bet." Takes me over and he's like, "Hey, this is D'Artagnan. He speaks really great Spanish." And she in Spanish goes, "Oh really?" And starts asking me questions in Spanish.
Oh my god.
I look at him like, "Oh, you son of a bitch," and I just start lying. Every question she asks, if I didn't know the actual answer in Spanish, I just started like just making it up with words that I did know. I'm like, she don't know the
Hmm.
she don't know the difference. She just knows I'm answering in Spanish. Um, Left it alone for a while. Drank way too much that night. The drinking was painful. I used to walk around with a bottle of Bullet Bourbon with the highest alcohol percentage that I can find, knowing that no one would ask me for any of my drink, and I wouldn't have to share. Right? That was my intention between drinking. That was my intention behind drinking such hard liquors. I didn't have to give it to anybody. Um, and I finished the entire bottle. At some point in that night, we hit it off, and I was, again, like, wow, very low self-esteem for myself at the time, but like, wow, like she's actually talking to me. We're actually like hitting it off. And then the very next memory is me crying, drunk in a corner, trying to run away. And then everyone else is claiming, they're like, yeah, you were screaming about how much you were in love with your ex. Not really a good look when you're trying to talk to a new girl.
Right.
And I can only imagine that happened many other times as I continue to abuse alcohol. And again, in those moments, you have your couple tight-knit friends that are there, but people that don't have to be around you won't be around you. And it speaks to your testament you said earlier. You really just have a lot to lose.
Yeah.
Not really much to gain. Any closing thoughts, or we're moving on?
I'm good on this one. I think a lot could be said. I mean, you could do a whole pod about that.
Never.
But
We'd have an AA meeting right here.
yeah, we have plenty to talk about in regards to it.
But we're gonna move on. We're gonna bring the mood up. We've had some heavy conversations in the beginning, but this next poem is called Black Like, and it is hilarious, especially if you're black like me, nigga. This is Black Like. I believe this is the poet's name, Black Poet. So gives you the vibe already. He really embraces it. No other introduction. Let's just go ahead and enjoy.
I'm black like the Source, the S's in the BET Awards. I'm black like the Soul Train line and that Scrabble board. I'm black like street hustlers, gangbangers, pimps, and thugs. I'm black like that old black ass nigga on the Flavor of Love. I'm black like Public Enemy, KRS-One and X-Clan. I'm black like the back of Ike Turner's pimp hand. I'm black like Ali and Foreman, Sugar Ray Leonard and Hitman Hearns. I'm black like afros and braids, ball fade, Jerry curls, wigs, weaves, and perms. I'm black like making a syrup sandwich, then go play hide and go get it. I'm black like when you break something at your mom and dad's house and y'all start talking about, oh, you did it. Oh, you did it. I'm black like that sister at your church that just love to shout. I'm black like when you tell your kids, you better shut the hell up before I give you something to cry about. I'm black like 5th Ward, 3rd Ward, Sunnyside, South Park. I'm black like, get your ass out that water. You know black folks don't get bit by sharks. I'm black like that nigga that you love to hate. I'm black like alligator shoes with a matching belt because I know how to coordinate. I'm black like 6 in the morning, police at my door. Fresh new Adidas sliding across the bathroom floor. I'm black like the niggas in your neighborhood is up to no good. I'm black like Boone's Farm, Thunderbird, Old English, St. Ives, and Split Mouth like a bull. I'm black like Big Mama when she demands her respect. I'm black like that attitude you get when they fuck up your paycheck. I'm black like Ebonics, ghetto slang, and broken English. I'm black like a 1-hour lunch break when you know your ass supposed to be back in 30 minutes. I'm black like them poets Mean Joe Swanson, Punkin for Bluto, Bar None, 7 and Killer Whale. I'm black like that barbecue just got burnt all to hell. I'm black like that ass whooping you get with extension cord, a belt pop pan or a switch. I'm black like my name Rick James, bitch. I'm black like them bootleg DVDs of classic shows like I'ma Get You Sucking in Living Color. I'm black like Bernie Mac, that means I ain't scared of you, motherfucker. I'm black like Pan and Hannah Spade, Peter Pat, Trump, and Domino. I'm black like jumping your ass in the pool, coming up with your eyes closed, talking about Marco. Yeah, I see there's a bunch of black ass motherfuckers here today. I'm black like Temptations, the Isley Brothers, the Four Tops, and the OJs. I'm even black like Prince and Michael Jackson. That is Michael Jackson way back in the day. I'm black like The Color Purple, the 5 Heartbeat School Days in Cooley High. I'm black like your eye when you fuck with the wrong guy. I'm black like Ready for the World, New Edition, True SWV, and The Barge. I'm black like a box of Magnums, extra large. Black Poet.
All right, as the guest, well, how you feeling after that?
It's almost the opposite of the last one, where this one is more triumphant.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, it's a mood pickup. So
yeah, definitely wanted to save it for the end, right before we went into the prompt. But I really enjoy this because it's very triumphant. It's very happy. He's owning black culture, but he's owning all of it. That if you catch it, there's the good and the bad. There's the highs and the lows, but they're all said with the same amount of pride. Like, this is who I am, and this is my culture. there's all of the nonsense that's going on, followed by I'm black like Big Mama when she demands her respect, right? Then it's like, oh, that's a positive. That's standing up for yourself, your culture. That's then there's the I'm black like Prince and Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson way back in the day, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
is all of the tragedies. He even mentioned OJ. He mentioned I'm black like if you fuck with the wrong guy, your eye when you fuck with the wrong guy. Like he hit all of it. There was nothing to be left out. He just as triumphantly as he could, he was just announcing like, "Hey, I'm black and I'm proud," you know?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you have the pass after listening?
I feel like I shouldn't answer that question.
Good choice, good choice, good choice. For all of you guys listening, if you didn't have the pass, you still don't. That was a whole lot of fun. Go ahead and take a little second to head down into the comment section. Leave us your thoughts on the poems that we've just gone over. If you feel black, if you are black, are you black like Bernie Mac when he says, "I'm not scared of you motherfuckers"? If you had problems with alcohol, did you feel like that poem reached out to you? You don't necessarily need to go spill all the gruesome details. I know everyone's battle is different. I like to view myself as a public figure, so when you're in the public, people are going to know what you're doing. But if you're a little private, you can just solidarity, throw up the put a double A battery in the comments. I'll know what that means. And then as far as the two before, if you've experienced that heartbreak or loss, or you've seen someone go down a path where they lose who they are, feel free to go ahead and share a little something in the comments. Again, every comment helps the algorithm, and it helps us bond with the audience just a little more. So we love to hear what you guys are thinking. And without further ado, it is time for our 10-minute poetry prompt. Andrew, do you have a docs or a notepad ready?
Yeah, I've been writing some stuff in the background, just trying to get my juices flowing. I'm ready for this. I'm prepping for this. What is our prompt?
All right, our prompt, you have 10 minutes to write about what it means to be a man. And before we get started, let me just highlight that this prompt was selected by my Instagram. I don't like to call people fans. I feel like fans is a disrespectful term to use in 2024. All my Instagram homies, if we're homies on Instagram and you're kicking it, I'm liking your stuff, you're liking my stuff, you will see that we have our polls and our opportunities for you guys to submit prompts. This is the one that won this week, what it means to be a man. I think this is an excellent prompt, especially with some of the things that we just went over. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself for 10 minutes. I'll see you back in 10, bro.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Me and Andrew are here. This is Future Us. We're going to go over the comments from the last video, as Past Us is currently writing about what it means to be a man. Andrew, can you see the screen?
Yeah, let me zoom in a little bit. I got you. Here we go. Got it.
All right, so first comment, JSO6233. I look forward to listening to y'all every Sunday. You're totally part of my Sunday fun day. I love that this podcast is really a passion project. I know I do have loftier goals for it one day, but my thing with projects like these, or if it becomes too much like work, I won't want to do it anymore. So I love that we have a regular audience that really looks forward to Sunday night when this comes out. Does help me put into perspective and keep working and making it better, knowing that people are actually listening to it weekly. JSO6233, goals change, striving to a life of thriving. Let's go. I don't remember what this comment could possibly be referring to. It might be our goals that we set for the week, where me and Jeremiah were supposed to work out for 5 days, read 10 pages of a book for 5 days, and there was probably something else in there. Something. Well, I can say I worked out 4 days. I was sick on Tuesday. Took that day off. And I read every night. I'm actually currently reading the Bible for school, so got my reading in. You have any goals that you have for yourself, Andrew?
For coming up, pretty recently, my big goal right now is just getting more structure and a little bit more order in my day to day. Trying to find time to enjoy new things. Um, because it's difficult when you're getting into a certain age and it's you fall into the mundane and the regular.
Hmm.
So I just want to be able to entertain and share with the people that I love, and then also like goals to actually set like a physical, tangible one. I want a good bonus this year, so
All
I'm trying
right,
to.
all right. Working for the
I'm trying.
bonus.
Yeah, working for the bonus. I'm trying to finish a couple settlements on my end and get all my papers in before December comes. I'm a few months ahead, but like I want to finish December before October.
God damn, you guys, it's amazing. You hear that?
It's a tough one.
My goal is to finish the due date before the due date.
There we go.
A month in advance. JSO6233 says, I agree that should be a skit. That would be fire. I wish I remember what we referred to as being a skit, because that is something that I do want to do in the future, is start doing skits that relate to certain poems or certain things that I see, because there's so many sound bites that deserve to at least be real life acted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at least if we could animate them, that would be even better. Did you see the Sphere in Vegas for the UFC event yesterday?
Insane. Granted, matches not so insane or exciting,
Well,
but
okay, hold on. Every fight was amazing, minus the final three.
minus the final three.
Like
Yep.
the undercard was cracking.
The undercard was probably the best we've had in a year, and the stadium atmosphere was great. The dome, the sphere is what it's called.
Yeah,
Terrifyingly high tech. That is awesome.
yeah. Okay. This was my thing. I'm surprised no one thought of it sooner.
Oh yeah, that's true. Or maybe like we don't know how long these projects have been in the minds of people, but actually having it out there, and no one actually wanted to put the money down and say like, hey, I'm gonna build this. Thank you, Vegas.
It's
Thank you for that.
insane. I need. Hear me out. I need Lady Gaga to have a concert there, and have her be entirely in charge of all of the things that are gonna pop up in the bag.
Oh man,
Don't
the
don't
effects would be insane.
don't have a don't hire a person to do her visuals. Let her be on the creative team for that and piece it together, because
Hmm.
she is an absolute psychotic artist at heart.
It'll be something to behold.
I need like
Certainly.
a Fame monster. Well, that's what the album was called, right? Back in like 2011,
Hmm.
2008, something like that. Fame Monster. Yeah, I need redo, a Fame Monster tour reignited.
Hmm.
That it takes place entirely at the Dome. It's just 7 shows at the Dome,
That was just the
and
dome.
she gets to freaking all over the background like that.
Oh yeah, the visuals for that or like who else would have a great visual? Like a Melanie Martinez, but that's not really my musical taste. It's more of like I know the presentation would go insane.
I know the presentation would be fire. Kendrick's got to get in there just so he can slander Drake some more. That's a must.
The A minor, and you just see it like the zoom in on the house in the sphere.
Oh man, yeah. The Sphere is awesome. The Sphere is amazing, and I think using it, something like that for poetry, would make so many poems go viral.
Oh yeah,
You just have the person up there, and then these 70-foot tall animations of their poem are happening behind it. Oh, beautiful. That would be amazing. Oh my God. Arizona's up 34-3 against the
hmm
Rams. Poor Rams, dude. Lost a tough one last week and then got blown out the following week. Not a good. Justin Fields is leading the Steelers to a 2-0 start. What is this?
yeah, rushing and passing yards.
Crazy. Should have bet the over.
Should have bet the over.
Oh, okay. Well, here we go. JSO6233 says, I thought Jeremiah was the victim in his poem. So if you remember, last week's poems were about gaslighting.
Hmm.
Jeremiah's not the victim. He's the gaslight. He's doing a good job.
Yeah, he successfully gaslit you.
he's,
Look at
he's,
yourself.
he's so good at gaslighting. Oh, no.
You've been
And then
gaslit.
I thought Jonosaurus Rex was gaslighting in his. Yeah, I was. You caught me. But I was only gaslighting because she didn't treat me right.
There we go.
I'm still the victim. Um, Y'all should take suggestion prompts from the viewers. I don't have one, but I'm just saying 100% in the notes. That's hilarious that we're going over this right now because we did implement this as of this week. That's how we ended up with the prompts that we are going to reveal in about 2.5 minutes. We've gone through the comments. Are you going to play any Dragon Ball Sparking Zero?
I don't know. It's hard for me to like get time and sit down and play like anything. Um, yeah, I'm just really inconsistent with it. Um, I'm looking forward to it. It looks like it's gonna be fun. If anything, I'll watch a lot of it.
It looks visually looks amazing. My
Yeah.
concern with these Dragon Ball fighters is that they can I play this with no sound and not get a copyright? Probably, right? My concern with these Dragon Ball fighters is that the combat is not deep. Right? Like it's visually pleasing, but like if we remember like Budokai Tenkaichi, like we played the crap out of those games, but we were also little kids.
Yeah, that's fair.
So just like spamming spirit bombs was really cool.
Yeah.
And who's gonna play as Pan, bro? She can't even go Super Saiyan. She's the only Saiyan that can't go Super Saiyan.
That's actually so disappointing.
Right.
The one Pan player out there in the world somewhere is gonna find this and be so hurt.
Dude, I'm gonna receive one angry comment where they're like, "I would play Pan. She's got a robot."
Yeah.
And
I play Pan.
Baby Vegeta was just Majin Vegeta Part 2. We didn't need a Part 2 of that. Majin Vegeta did it better. Who else we got here? Oh, Super Baby Vegeta. Someone please tell me how his transformation gave him clothes twice.
Oh.
I mean, he's a powerful character, and I'm sure the arc is really cool. I don't really remember it.
Did they?
Is the biggest wasted potential.
Of all time. Wait, I'm okay. Did Oob always have two U's? Or is it I thought it was UB.
No, it was always 2. It's supposed to be Boo backwards because he's Majin Buu's reincarnation.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Like wasted potential there. That he literally could have just been the main character of GT. That would have made more sense.
I think that would have been true. That would have been very cool to watch as well. But also, me and you agree on this that it really shouldn't have been the Goku show after the Cell Saga.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I can go into my whole spiel about how that should have ended, but yeah, Gohan should have definitely taken over. They set it up perfectly, and I think more things would have more weight if Goku came in as a cameo support character going forward instead of him still being the big hero, which is crazy because canonically speaking, Gohan was still stronger than Boo. He could have been the guy to beat Boo.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we are back from our 10 minutes.
Oh man.
As the special guest, I'll leave it up to you. Would you like to go first or second?
I can intro this and you can tell me if you think I hit it in the right way.
I went completely off schedule, so I don't. Poetry is subjective.
Oh, 100%. For me, it was one of the things I reflected upon recently in terms of what it means to just be masculine and how that relates to our relationships with people, especially those we're interested in and infatuated by, is like oftentimes you find yourself in a situation where you're not the only one being sought after or desired, or we're all chasing the same things. And as much as an experience feels like it's your own, it's not always yours. It could be shared. It could be that something has been done before you were there. So I go to my happy place when I write all the time. I go to the beach, and I related this to me at least. What I want to say by this, and I'll get into the reading of it right after, is a big part of masculinity is understanding that you don't always need that someone,
Okay.
and being a man, being I don't want to use the word stoic, but it doesn't mean to be emotionless.
Right.
It means to be self actualized. And I can get into it if you would like.
Yeah, feel free to lead us off. Go ahead and share your screen so everybody at home can.
Okay, I got to switch to a different app. Give me 1 second. I have it in Docs, thankfully. So it's called. How do I share screen?
At the bottom of the Google Meet, there's a little arrow going up. It says present now.
I'm on my phone, so um,
In the Google Meet,
I
you
could share screen.
yeah, you should still be able to do it from your phone.
Okay.
Are you finding it? Or oh, there
There
we
we go.
go. Yeah.
Okay. I was typing this on my laptop, so I'm gonna close it on my laptop as well and just do it from here.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, Sunsets, sandcastles, and
You
sometimes.
can slide me off of your screen.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Other
there
side.
we
Oh,
go.
there we go. Yep.
So here we go. Stood together at water's edge, where the sky whispered farewell. In hues that held 1,000 words that only the heart could spell. The Oh, I definitely typoed that.
I was like the sunk sank. I like it. It sounds
Yeah.
nice.
Uh, the sky sank low in a
Ah, there we
lover's
go.
sigh. Its warmth still brushed my skin. I held it close, my Lorelei, knowing nothing stays within. Sandcastles crumbled at our feet. Its fate was always clear. I used to wish for endless light. Now I accept nights here. For a time once felt like she was mine, the sun a flame to keep. Yet now I see she wasn't meant for any man to reap. This moment's ours, just ours it seemed. The sea, the sky, the sand. But now I've learned to let her pass like water through my hands. The cold crept in as night drew near. The stars began to rise. I used to fight the coming dark, but now I watch the skies. For in the fleeting warmth we shared, I find a quiet peace. And even when the sun is gone, there's beauty in release. And though alone at the end of night, no longer do I yearn. For in the stillness I have found that all things must return.
Damn.
That, oh man, the pacing of it killed me. Trying to fit syllables, I was like, I want 8 stanzas.
That was nice. That was beautiful. Very Shakespeare inspired.
Yeah.
You took the sonnet format for sure. Just left off the couplet at the end
Mm-hmm.
there. That
Mm-hmm.
was it was beautiful. The structure is fantastic. Putting that together in 10 minutes, it looks it looks pre-written. Like that is a fantastic poem in terms of structure, delivery, the communication, the imagery. We have the like water through my hands, the metaphors. Like this is all the beach, but you love the beach and you're using it to convey your love of people,
Yeah.
and how it you cannot nothing at the beach is forever. Um,
Exactly.
wow, this is really good. You should have went second.
No, it was tough. Like, I sat there forever just thinking like, what rhymes with sigh? It took me. I was looking at the clock. 3 minutes passed. I'm like, Lorelei. There we go.
Just doing it, stealing the name. It's fine.
Still the name. Um, it's one of those things. It's the idea of, as unique as the experience feels to one individual, you've sat in the same spot as a million other people.
Hmm.
Um, you're not the only person this other person may be in a relationship with. It's special to you, and that's fine. Um, there's no need to be selfish or mature about it. Things pass, and there's beauty in that impermanence. Um, but I don't know if you heard. There was times where I was cooking, and there was times where I was sitting and just staring.
I did hear at one point, you kind of like running through syllables. Like
Yeah.
I could kind of hear the mumbling. I was like, okay, he's putting something together. He's cooking.
I was trying, so I sweating at this one. But I love poetry. I love poetry so much, and I've spent so much of my life just sitting down and writing it. And yeah, I think this is one that, because it's so it's something I've been thinking about, like the topic of just being masculine, being myself, and then also the relationship aspect of everything. And that's where I'm at in my life. It's like I have my good job, I have the people I love. I just want that someone.
Mm,
It's okay to not have that someone. So
very much.
this one came to me pretty good.
And it looks excellent on paper. Like I said, the structure, it looks amazing. It's put together beautifully. I like the dashes that you used. Very, who Lang? What was her first name?
Lang Leaf, I read it. I wrote in her style because in the very
Yeah.
beginning, I wrote the first three stanzas, and I was like, I know how I am when I read. I go too fast.
Mm,
I started throwing the dashes in as those like reminders. I'm just staring at this book that was on my desk, and I'm like, those pregnant pauses let you know like there's meaning to the word. Don't forget it.
yeah, definitely. It's quite the opposite of my style. For anyone who hears me perform, it's very rapid, and oftentimes you need the second listen to catch things that you might have missed the first time. Every line here hit. Every line here carried weight, and it was amazing. This is awesome.
Thank you, thank you. Whew, so nervous.
You can go ahead and stop sharing. We're gonna move on.
Mm-hmm.
So, what it means to be a man. I really tried to tackle the idea that there is no definition of like what makes someone manly, and that changes from culture to culture, from person to person. So, this is what I came up with. Rhyme scheme's not really there in the way that most of mine are. I'm really focused on the message, but let's have some fun with it. What it means to be a man. I'm too manly to be an ally, but I'm too feminine to be manly. I'm too poor to kick it with rich people, but I'm rich enough that poor folks call me bougie. I'm too Mexican to be black, but I'm too black to play corridos. I'm too athletic to be a nerd, but I'm too nerdy for athletes to take me seriously. I could ask a man what it means to be a man, but I have no intention of changing if they say something I disagree with. I could ask someone what a bad bitch looks like, but I have no intention of dating someone that I would not enjoy being with. I could ask someone how much money I should make, but I have no intention of chasing dollar bills when I'm already happy. I could ask someone how I should cut my hair, but I have no intention of changing it. I like my head nappy. I wonder what it means to be a man and how that differs from what I am. Someone thinks I am, another thinks I'm not. Someone thinks I'm ugly, someone thinks I'm hot. Too many opinions trying to tell me what to do, what to see, what to eat, and who to be. I only need one opinion: to be a man, to be anything, to be me. I am a man, I think. To me, real men protect their family. It does not mean they have to be strong. They can be rich and have guards or build bunkers with food bars. But alas, I'm not rich. I have no bunker. So lay a finger on my loved ones. I dare you. Poem.
Love it. Love it.
I think at about 4 minutes remaining, I had gotten to, I only need one opinion to be a man, to be anything, to be me. And I'm like, okay, that feels like a good place to stop. And I was like, we stopped 4 whole minutes.
Okay. Oh no, I get you. As I'm going through this and I'm reading it with you,
Mhm.
and hearing that it's such a declaration, it's such a definitive statement of this is it. It does like there's no standard. I'm the standard.
Exactly.
And yeah, love that.
Also, I didn't intend for this to be what it was here at the end. This last portion, I think a man should protect their family, and it doesn't mean they have to be strong. They can be rich and have guards or build bunkers with food bars.
Hmm.
I didn't mean it to be a declaration of like I am strong, and if you mess up, if the way I'll protect my family is to fight you.
Hmm.
But I ran out of time.
Mm.
And I was like, so lay a finger on my loved ones, and like I was gonna continue writing, and I was like, pause, like I dare you, like it has to have implied meaning here, and
Right.
I think it landed, but
Oh, perfectly.
yeah, it was entirely accidental. I don't want people.
I think there's something very poetic about the idea of how flowery we get with language and how we choose to present and convey a million meanings through a certain amount of words we could use. Um, nothing could have like finished that and put a point in it as well as just saying, "I dare you." I'm there. I'm doing all of this. I'm saying all these things. I'm conveying myself in the best way possible. But if we want to go back to basics and talk about what is traditional masculine, I dare you.
I dare. Ooh,
Love that.
I can see fights started with that.
Oh yeah, I dare you. Those are fighting words.
Those are fighting. I think that's something that is missing from 2024, and I don't know if it's for better or for worse, but it definitely is missing. Is the amount of people that acknowledge that the way that people say things to them matters, and like I hear a ton of fighting words every day, and nobody fights. I don't understand.
People don't get fighting anymore.
They're okay with it. Oh, that's ridiculous.
hmm
Like,
First Amendment doesn't even protect fighting words. If you get into a fighting word situation, get fought. Like, don't go saying I was allowed to say it. It's a fighting word.
fighting words also are not protected by the First Amendment. Those are microaggressions.
There we go.
Yep, we got rid of them. We got rid of fighting words. And I think maybe people just don't feel like going through the lawsuit, so they just allow people to use fighting words with them.
Yeah.
I'd have to imagine. All right. Well, this is where we will do our closeout. Andrew, it was a pleasure to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Amazing perspective on poetry. I feel like me and Jeremiah are very much the same. So when we had Destiny on the one time, it added in another perspective, and then having you on has added in. I still can't get over the structure. It was beautifully assembled. And it's something that like you sit down for an assignment and you have like a week and you're like, yeah, let's do this. But to keep in mind, everybody, he wrote that in 10 minutes, structured it perfectly in the 10 minutes. Really wrote a Shakespearean sonnet without the couplet.
My couplet.
Yeah, without the couplet. Really wrote a Shakespearean sonnet in 10 minutes. And if anybody's taking a poetry class, your professors will tell you like, oh, you need to spend more time on it. Like, no, that's a final draft right there that he could turn in. And he did it in 10 minutes. So that was awesome. Just a quick shout out on my end. If Xavier Worthy of the Kansas City Chiefs scores a touchdown in this game, I win $400. So let's all hope that happened by the time you're seeing this.
Best wishes, Xavier.
Best wishes, Xavier. Let's get that. Hasn't yet. I've had an eye on the game throughout this entire podcast. Hasn't done it yet. It is currently 2:53 p.m. on Sunday, and they're going into halftime. But second half, he's got this. He's got this, guys. Andrew, would you like to give your closing statements?
Yeah, I'm hoping the worst for CJ Stroud tonight. No, in sincerity though, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it. I'm hoping that this keeps going. It's been so cool just sitting and listening in. Every week it's always interesting. I get to go back to it. It's something to listen to when I'm at work too. I mean, I share it with one of the attorneys that I have. She does a lot of writing, and she's been big on poetry forever. We're in a book club together, and I bring little videos that have been shown here over to her office when I don't want to actually be working.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's been fantastic.
Hell
Thank you for
yeah.
having
Hell
me.
yeah.
Thank you for having me.
And until next time,
hmm
read, nigga, read.